and gentlemen, we are less than 3 minutes away from action. Are you excited for some Kabaddi, everybody? Fantastic. Give me a cheer if you've seen some Kabaddi before. Some of you, quite a lot. Give me a cheer if you've never seen Kabaddi before. There's a few first timers. Well, it's going to be fun. Don't worry about the rules. Don't pick it up straight away. It's very straightforward. Basically, you're going to touch and you're going to run. You're going to touch and you're going to run. Keep your eye out for that. Right, our officials are nearly here. We're going to welcome our two teams. In this afternoon session, we have two matches for you coming up. I believe they are both men's matches to come this afternoon, and they're both brilliant contests, quite evenly matched as well. So we're going to enjoy it. But try and bring in energy, try and get on your support, and just enjoy yourself. Will you do that for me, commentary? Will you do that for me, commentary? Fantastic. That's really, really good. That's good stuff as well. I want to do a shout out to some of the schools. I think we've got some schools here as well. Let's find out. Which school is that over there? Is that the Longford School? Oh, you guys are Longford School. Longford School? Give us a wave, Longford School. Hey guys. Good. You guys excited to see some Kabaddi? Yeah. Some of you are. That's good. That's good. That's good. Okay, we'll be back very shortly with action. 1 minute to go, guys. 1 minute to go. Ladies and gentlemen, can I have a round of applause for your umpires and officials for the first match of this afternoon session. Now, ladies and gentlemen, welcome the first team out this afternoon. Everybody make some noise for Team England!
And welcome to the 2025 Kabaddi World Cup, powered by Paddy Power. What an exciting time. My name is Phoebe Schechter, former England captain, and we are so excited for you to be joining us as we are going to see one of the most physical matchups of the day. We're watching Team England taking on Team USA here in Coventry, and it is just spectacular. Both these teams having played Hungary previously with some pretty dominant wins. USA won 87-35 versus Hungary, and England winning 101-25 versus Hungary. So a great opportunity of being able to witness as we stand for the national anthem.
And if you're able, please keep standing for the national anthem of the United States of America.
Wow, if that doesn't get you ready for this matchup, I don't know what will.
Right, ladies and gentlemen, before we kick off,
absolutely
let's start
phenomenal
with the
energy
face-off.
in here. You could see the passion with both of these teams. Just exciting times, and now we watch USA and England shaking hands, showing signs of respect before the game. And we were watching these amazing athletes warming up before. I mean, just the athleticism, a lot of height in the jumps, which is something that you do tend to see, especially as you get deeper into the more elite level, these guys being the best in the world at what they do. Ultimately, the coin toss has been going on, and we're deciding who is going to be starting with the raid. But my goodness, today has been absolutely fantastic. We're day 3 here in Coventry at the Coventry Building Society Arena. Previously, we've been in Wolverhampton. The rest of the week on this kind of roaming tour, we've also been, we'll go to Birmingham, we'll be in Walsall. And here we go. The games have begun. The first few raids, always wanting to test the waters, get a feel on what the defense is like. An empty raid for USA there, and that's okay. It just means next time they'd have a do or die, which happens if you have 2 empty raids, being no points, including a bonus or tagging somebody. England perhaps taking a similar route. You see him showing his players what it is that he's trying to achieve here. And we're back. So this is a do or die. This is a must win here. And my goodness, England have done it. That will give them a lot of confidence early on. You got to shake off some of those nerves, especially on such a big stage like this. Number 10, known for his bounciness and the limb length, which just gives you such an advantage in these situations. Both these teams having played Kabaddi for so many years now. Here in England, we've got the British Kabaddi League, which goes all throughout the spring season. The USA traveling to play. What a nice team tackle here from Team England. Good. USA still trying to find their feet a little bit. For those that are new to the amazing sport of Kabaddi, essentially what you're trying to do is the raider has 30 seconds from the time they cross the line, and then ultimately they have to try and check in, which is that first yellow line you see on your screen, and then the second line would be a bonus line. So he has to check in and then try and tag someone or go for a bonus, all within 30 seconds, and saying Kabaddi, because this is all based around the spirit of the warrior, which we love so much. Now, I am absolutely delighted to be joined by England's very own Emma Jones. Welcome. You just came off the back of a match. Congratulations on a win that probably put the rest of us on the edge of our seats a little bit.
Me included. Thank you very much.
But I want you to talk a little bit as we're discussing the game in front of us and seeing the amazing play by these two teams. You are one of the few athletes in the UK that have played 3 different variations of Kabaddi now. Beach Kabaddi, rectangular Kabaddi, which is what we're watching right now, and circular Kabaddi, which is slightly different and on a much bigger outdoor pitch. You're seeing a replay here now because they're saying that they thought one of the England defenders went out of bounds. That was not the case. The points were awarded. But talk to us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so I started with circular, as you'll know yourself, and we played together.
Yes, for quite some time, both of
Yeah.
us coming from contact backgrounds, American football and rugby and Muay Thai. I mean,
That's how we became friends, and that's what sport can do for you, and to meet new people and get lifelong friends.
exactly, and that's what makes stuff like this so special, right? So many people coming from all different sporting backgrounds, trying out a brand new sport. And what really is amazing is the fact that you're able to just learn something brand new. I know some of the teammates on England, Sophia Clare in particular,
Yeah.
rugby, American
Multi-sport,
football, multi-sport, just started playing only a couple months ago.
Yeah, a lot of the girls are multi-sport from various backgrounds. Wrestling, I think a few of the girls are from wrestling as well. Wrestling backgrounds, rugby.
And we see that a little bit here with England and USA as well. I mean, you've got a multitude of sports. You start to find some that find their niche within here,
Yeah.
but some of these have actually been your coaches too, right?
Yeah, so, I mean, the guys train in the same venue that we've been training at, and they arrive early to training, and then they'll come and assist us on the mats and, give us pointers, do a few raids, tell us where we, our positioning, and even now in the back, Felix especially, he was in the back with us, just going through some drills, giving us any tips. I mean, he's been in the Pro Kabaddi League, so he's learned and picked up a few tips over the time there, which he kindly passes on to us.
I mean, that's the best way, is learning from each other.
Yeah.
And you mentioned the Pro Kabaddi League. For some of the people here, they're tuning in, they may not know what that is. Can you tell us a little bit more about what that is?
Yeah, so I guess the best way to describe it, I suppose, for here, we have the Premier League football, and in India, for Kabaddi, they have the Pro Kabaddi with a multitude of teams, and then, like we are today, they're playing each year. Each year they buy the players, same as we do with football, and that's the sport.
Yeah, and it's the highest level of the sport
It is,
ultimately.
yeah. The paid athletes, professionals. Here we've got the British Kabaddi League, which is where we are today. That's how I personally feel the leaps and bounds have come on with English Kabaddi through that.
I think you're so right. I mean, it's really developed it. You've got university leagues as well, but the British Kabaddi League is allowed for the opportunity to play against the best within the league. So a lot of the athletes you're seeing through this World Cup are members and partake in the British Kabaddi League throughout this season. And, just that repetition. And I love to watch Raider right now, number 10. He is so explosive.
Yeah.
The way that he just springs off, and you'll see what he's going for is a bonus line. And ultimately what you have to do is take all your weight, put on the back line to get that point. Now, he could be a little bit greedy, which we saw him try and get there and go back for some more points. But that's part of the game. That's part of the tactics here.
They're just so hungry. This team is so hungry. They want that win. They want the World Cup.
And you can see that. I mean, to be on your home turf here in England and be able to take home that World Cup, that'd be phenomenal. I mean, you could see that in the fact that they beat Hungary 101-25. No taking their foot off the gas pedal there.
I think, yeah, we're going to see more and more, I think, from them as they settle into the competition.
Yeah, and the speed, it's harder when you've got 4 defenders like this. I mean, you know, as someone who's been raiding for quite some time, do you prefer when you've got everyone out, all 7, or do you like the one-on-one? What speaks better to you?
I mean, I think it changes for me throughout the game. I suppose sometimes it depends how sort of maybe tired you are, or, you know, if you've just done a few tackles in a row before you go and raid. I think, you know, some of the raiders have a difficult job if they have done a few tackles in a row, and then, you know, before you're catching your breath, you're back on it and all eyes are on you.
You're so right, and you'll see a lot of these players. You might have some that are specifically in that love being a raider, right? And they kind of stick to that role. They'll protect themselves a little bit in the back.
And the defense will try and protect them as well as much as we can.
Yeah, and you'll see that sometimes. You'll see them just kind of stood a little bit off because you don't want to lose your top raider.
Exactly, yeah.
Whilst playing defense like that. Do you have a preference stopping, raiding, or you just prefer in the
I definitely prefer defense. But raiding can be fun sometimes. If you can get, you know, for me, I like raiding when there's contact.
Yeah.
You know, we all do. I think when you get to the midline and you've pulled a few players with you, it's always quite, you know, a good feeling when you get up and you look and you're like, yeah, we got a few there.
Yeah, and we saw some of that with some of your raiders earlier in the game versus Hong Kong.
Yeah.
So competitive. I mean, how do you now, what are the next steps? You go away, you prepare, you've got your next games coming up, you're in the semifinals, ultimately.
Yeah, so we'll review the game that we've just played and see what went well, what maybe we need to change, or things we need to work on. And that's people, you know, the whole team will look individually and together. So we'll look at our individual positioning and things that we need to do better for ourselves, but then also as a collective, because essentially we are a team.
Yeah,
and I think we've got that team defence, and we've got to keep it, and because it's, you know, it's working well for us and we are working together.
No, you could see that in the way that you tackle, and a little bit of an injury there to USA. I mean, he did a great job to reach back across the line, getting 2 points as we're ending the end of this first quarter, which seems to have just flown by already.
It's so quick, especially when you're not on the court. It seems to, sometimes it's quite quick, sometimes it can feel a lot slower. But this has gone fast, this first quarter.
Yeah, time does tend to stop, doesn't it, when you're in the moment. And what a great performance so far. I mean, England leading by 14, but they're going to have to maintain that. Coming into this, they knew that they were one of the strongest contestants, you know, one of the favorites to make it to the finals. So there's a lot of pressure on them.
There is a lot of pressure, especially being the home nation. I feel like you get that added pressure anyway, because it's almost like the expectation is on you. You're hosting.
I feel like you might be
the home win.
You might be speaking from a bit of experience as well as the women's home nation too. You can feel all of that pressure, I am sure. But it's such a great display. I mean, to have Kabaddi, the first ever World Cup outside of Asia, here in the Midlands, really just experiencing all the great places the Midlands has to offer. As an athlete, what does that mean to you?
I mean, it's just so great to see how far Kabaddi has come in the UK. It just, you know, even outside of the World Cup, it's just grown immensely. So to actually host the World Cup in the UK is just crazy. And it's not, you know, the Midlands, it's central for everybody, so it's perfect because, you know, from London it's not far to travel, from up north it's not far to travel, it's a central location, and, you know, I really enjoy the fact that they've used multiple cities and, you know, stadiums, because it's good to move it around and keep educating people on the sport.
Yeah, and showcasing some of these wonderful venues as well. But what a production. You think about all the people it takes to take down all these mats, build them back up again in a new location.
Yeah.
It's pretty special. And I mean, just the team of people. And what you may not be able to see on your screen is we've got over 107 school children here today. And something that the World Cup has done so well is going into the local communities and educating and teaching about Kabaddi.
And they are the loudest supporters. It's fantastic.
I bet you can hear it when you're playing on the court.
Oh, yeah, even when I'm not playing and I've been a supporter sat in the crowd next to them, you know, I did contemplate some headphones myself at some point. You know, they are the biggest supporters. It's so nice to have them here.
It is great, and an all out there for England getting those 4 points, which is huge for them. That happens when you get the last defender, and it's almost like musical chairs. So everybody then gets to fill back in once you've gotten rid of the last defender. You'll also see the Raiders continuously saying Kabaddi, Kabaddi. A lot of that dates back to ultimately the spirit of the warrior and really being able to mentally focus, spiritually, emotionally, whilst in the heat of battle, testing your lung capacity. So it's crucial for them. They have to be saying Kabaddi the whole time. On cue, you can hear your kids cheering in the background. USA being a little bit frustrated. They're not quite sure what they can do to just get this England defense, and a bonus point there for England. Would you rather go for a bonus, or would you rather go for a touch?
I do like a bonus. Like from my old Thai boxing days, I do like my legs.
Yeah, it's such a great.
I'm not the tallest of people anyway, so.
But that's what's great. We were talking a little bit earlier about the weight categories. So for women's Kabaddi, it's 75 kilos. For men's Kabaddi, it's 85 kilos. And so it makes a level playing field here. So you can be no more than 85 kilos. So you've got all different body types, and you see how they're able to attack in different ways and how it can benefit in different ways. And oh, goodness, that was a risky tackle there, a gift for Team USA from England. Very uncanny mistake by them.
Yeah.
Good. USA just trying to figure out what they can do. England isn't exactly a team that will allow you to be overly physical on them. Although, as I say that, the commentator's curse comes to life again.
That's why I'm sat quiet.
So what have been the conversations within camp of England? You guys have been together for a little while now, and are there nerves, excitement? What are everyone's thoughts and feelings around this?
I feel like everyone's we're very determined. You know, the finals and the World Cup is the aim, essentially, for the men and the women.
Yeah.
You know, I know it's one game at a time. Today was quite a crucial game to get top of the table.
It was huge, and again, for those who weren't able to witness the incredible England-Hong Kong game earlier, it pretty much came down to the last 20 seconds.
Yeah, it was nerve-wracking.
It was nerve-wracking. Definitely one to watch back if you've got the opportunity to.
But the way the scoring is in Kabaddi, it can seem quite a high score, but the tables can turn very quickly. You know, a couple of super raids or super tackles and all out, and suddenly you've got a few extra points and they build up pretty quick. So it's, you know, you need to keep focused the whole time.
You do, and that's where that mental determination, that resilience is so key. And then even from, alternatively, from Hong Kong side, or even in this situation, USA side, You can never give up.
No.
You're waiting for England to make a mistake in this moment so that you can capitalize on it. It just takes one blink of lack of concentration, and ultimately, like you said, these tides can turn.
Yeah.
There needs to be just a little bit more aggressiveness here from USA. They're giving the bonus points away to England. The ankle grabs are such a key part of games like this, and that experience and the quickness. And I say that it is not easy. This England team are so fast with their feet. You watch, and especially yourself, Emma, as a stopper as well, and someone who likes to, play kind of on the edge like that. You start to build these tendencies of
nice, yeah,
really great tackle, decisive. That's
whatever you do, just commit to it.
You're so right, and especially as a team in that environment, you've got to be able to commit in a split second.
And you've got to be sharp. Yeah.
Oh. You look at that situation just there. USA were definitely in the right. 2 points because 2 players had touched the Raider who got back across the line. So those 2 players will now go out on the bench. You ultimately have 2 defenders left on Team USA's side. But if they had just grabbed the Raider and pulled in and backwards, it's not like rugby, where rugby you can fall backwards, forwards. Those inches don't matter. Slightly more like American football, where it can make a big difference. You've got to have such body control and strength in these moments.
Oh, yes, nice.
Look at that. I mean, just the
great avoidance. Yeah, the awareness of that other defender coming across. He's just dipped under the tackle.
And that's what's so hard, to get that feel and awareness, and like you said, dipping under the tackle whilst always in his head knowing where the midline is.
Yeah. Again, the support wrapping round to block that exit off.
And that's just it. You need to make sure that you're able to get that support, stop any limbs, arms, legs, whatever from going in. Another all out for England. So you see the points jump up again. And their star Raider taking the stage. Light on his feet. Absolute incredible wingspan and determination. Three points again for the 3 defenders that grabbed him. Absolutely terrific job there. And just like that, we're into our last 2 minutes of the half.
Flies by.
It's so exciting. A little bit of a conversation here. There's a slight confusion on who should be sitting out. It should be the defenders that touched the Raiders, then go to the bench. And let's say number 5 for USA tags someone and gets back across successfully, another one of their players will be able to jump back onto the court.
And we're just seeing now, if you look at the number 10, who was the Raider, how he stood back. And we discussed earlier about protecting the Raiders. So our defenders are going to try and protect the Raider from being touched, so that we've got him free to raid again.
And precisely that. And that's where the tactics come in. In an ideal world, as a defender, you're wanting to get that number 1 Raider because they're the one that's getting all those points. But when they're protected like that, it's so hard. A little bit of argy-bargy on the line. You love this passion from competitors. Did you see the strength? Oh, a missed opportunity there. There should have been a cover to support on that element. Grab the hand, block it off from getting across the midline. Good, wasting the clock a little bit here. You might have time for 2 more raids before the half. The focus, you see him focusing on the hips. You can't look at a raider's eyes. They lie to you. They're constantly using their peripheral, trying to sell you going one way. And a nice chain there, staying strong. Time is running out. That's what that beeping noise is.
She 10-second warning.
And last raid of the half. You see his great positioning. He's nice and low. He's protecting his legs. He's able to then push off and get back across. He's saying 2 points. USA doesn't feel that's the case. 2 points to England. They'll be happy with how they finished that half. Well, what an
Welcome to Birmingham and the West Midlands, a region of many faces and even more stories, where history comes alive, cultures connect, and unique experiences are made. Come for our icons like Shakespeare and the Peaky Blinders, and stay for the warm welcome with our world-renowned food, breathtaking events, and a diverse culture hundreds of years in the making. Explore the heart of the UK. Visit Birmingham and the West Midlands.
Halftime, guys. If you're just joining us, this is Phoebe Schechter, Emma Jones, and this is USA versus England. Score currently is 43-9. Absolutely terrific.
So now we've got a little sneak peek for you behind the scenes here at the Kabaddi World Cup. I'm joined here with Hattie. Hattie, what's going on over here?
Just giving Atif a nice massage with the massage gun.
So we know that you're a physio back here. How important is it having a physio here at the Kabaddi World Cup?
So obviously it's a contact sport, so it's really important that we have people there to support if they get any injuries, for pre-match treatment, and also like massaging afterwards as well if they needed it, or taping.
What is the most common injury you might see here at the Kabaddi World Cup?
We've had two shoulder dislocations today, so I'd say that probably.
Yeah, that is pretty intense. Atif, are you all right down here? What's going on? I think it's safe to say that he's enjoying his massage. Hattie, how have you found today? Has it been really busy back here?
It's been quite busy. We've had some spells where people have been queuing up, but it's been so interesting. It's been cool to come. So.
Are you sure people don't just line up to just get a quick massage?
They probably do, to be fair. I'd do the same.
Well, thank you, Hattie. Atif, I think you're still enjoying it down there? Yeah, I think that's all from here, but let's get back to the action.
And welcome back to the 2025 Kabaddi World Cup. We are here in Coventry, and if you are just joining us, my name's Phoebe Schechter, and I am sat with Team England women's player just off the back of a fresh win versus Hong Kong, Emma Jones. And right now, current score between USA and England, you're looking at USA 9, England 43. This has been a little bit of a one-sided match, but Emma, as a player, as someone who has been in some of these situations before, and we know the tides can turn at any point, what would be some of the messaging that you say to your team if you were USA?
I just tell them to, settle, relax, pick out the positives, what we've been working well on, what we need to do better. They seem to be baited in by England, so they're tackling quite high. And if there's no support there, then they're going to make it back to the midline. It's not too far a distance. Again, we're seeing this high up the court. So just use the space, break them into you.
Yeah, use the
work together.
Exactly.
The teamwork is essentially, the biggest advantage you've got on defence.
Yep. And as we're saying that, an all-out occurs. 4 points awarded to Team England. Excuse me.
But this is a moment to reset now. You've got your full team back on. Again, it's a 7v1, so.
And I think it's a really great point, because some people, maybe you've been hanging out with us this whole time. If so, we are so grateful for that. But some of you might be watching and thinking, why were there only two defenders on the court? And that, Emma, you can explain that a little bit more. Even though it was after halftime, what's the situation there?
So before halftime, when there was 2 on, so you'll start as you were. And if the raider touches the defender and makes it back to the midline, then that defender is now out. And the team needs to score a point to revive that defender back on.
And I think that's so unique to this amazing sport. Is normally you think halftime is almost a reset and you should get everyone fresh and refilled again, but no, you pick up where you left off. And I quite like that, because it's almost, this is your identity, it's continuation, and I think it's a really unique point of this sport. You'll also see sometimes you'll get a bunch of people up at the line, so you don't know which raider is going to go. What are some of the tactics there?
So that's just trying to cause some confusion to the defence, because some raiders raid from the left and some raid from the right. And it's just ensuring, if they're in the position, if they come in for a quick touch, if somebody's off balance. It's very much cat and mouse game. So you're always trying to be one step ahead or make somebody think you're going to do something and do something else.
It is a little bit like chess, isn't it? Because you're setting this up throughout the match. You look at the first quarter and you're just trying to get a feel for how
they move.
I feel USA would be happy with that stop they had before. It was a really nice gang tackle. You see that England have sat their star raider, which makes sense. To your point, you're wanting to manage them. You're going to need them healthy for when you get further into the playoffs.
Yeah, they've made a few substitutions now. England, George is now on. George has been playing for a while. We've trained with George before, haven't we? And he's helped us out in the past.
Yeah, George has been great for us as well. Number 9, who's raiding right at this moment. You also see a lot of the athletes throughout the competition will wear some sort of knee pads, knee support. The mats are hard that you need, and you're getting tackled from all different angles. So that's part of the protective gear. They wear Kabaddi boots, which are similar to boxing shoes as well.
Boxing, wrestling shoes, similar soft shoes. England.
Yeah, big moment here for USA, trying to continue their momentum. Again, a team who are probably a bit more of the physical side, maybe not as quick as England are. You look at the footwork right here, that kick, which can be so lethal, one that you are quite friendly with.
Maybe a bit more in the past, not so much now.
I think I've been on the receiving end of 1 or 2 of those kicks.
That's where the Thai boxing used to come in.
But that's what's so great. We talk about Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, MMA,
The skills you can bring from other sports. In your case, brute force from your American football. You used to take a few players with you on a raid, didn't you?
I did, whatever it took. And we're back to a do or die for George here.
For the bonus there. So they give the bonus.
They gave the bonus, but he is still out as he got captured in that moment. Again, a promising start for USA. They've just got to keep this England team on their heels a little bit. It's tricky when you're a raider. You want this nice low body position. You've got to be careful on deciding who you turn your back to. The best stoppers will capitalize as soon as they see you turn your back on them.
England. Do or die.
Got a do or die raid, so this is key.
So on a do or die, they have to make a point. So as a defender on a do or die raid, you know that you can bring them quite deep and you can try and play the time out. There's less pressure of you to make an attack on the raider.
Yeah, and when we talk about if someone's high or deep with on the court, you're ultimately looking at where closer to the midline you're going to be high. Towards the back where the double lines are is where you talk about being deep in. It's further distance for a raider to travel. So the deeper towards the back you go, the more dangerous it is ultimately.
Hence why the bonus line is towards the back, because it's harder to get the bonus point.
Absolutely. I mean, this is just a game for everyone. It doesn't matter age, background, gender. This is just something everyone can enjoy, and it's so exciting to watch.
Yeah, I think with the 30 seconds, every 30 seconds, it just keeps it fresh. It keeps it, keeps the game going and flowing.
And there's so few barriers to participation. I mean, I know when you and I were out in India playing and with the England team, you would see people just drawing a court in the sand and playing. You really need no resources in order to play this sport. It was a good attempt at the end to get up and try and rebuttal. He had just lost that footing if he got up a little bit quicker, but they still gave him the point.
Because the lobby, once you make a touch, the lobbies come into play, so the court essentially extends. So the area that's marked the lighter green area, once you've made a touch on a defender, the court extends, so you can then run into the lobby and use that space.
USA.
And that's a really key factor, because that's where the really smart raiders and defenders at the same time understand how to use that to their advantage. We've got Mashoud here.
Absolutely. That's what I've been waiting for. Mashoud has been training this with the girls. He's given us some advice, and we did a bit of training with him, and he's so good at it, and I haven't seen him do it yet. So
look at that replay, the instincts.
Right over.
I mean, absolute instincts in that moment. Fantastic job by Mashoud. You could hear the crowd in here just going wild, witnessing a feat like that.
Good support by the whole of England then in the defence.
Ogden up, one of the fresher raiders, and you can see the different styles. Something that you'll see some of the stoppers do, I know myself included, you end up make some sort of noise, or you want to, you get the thigh slaps, you do anything like that, which is going to distract and pull the vision away of the athletes. You always are trying to find ways to get the raider to just put their attention on you, and maybe it's look at me so that I can allow somebody else to come in and tackle you. Getting those English shears. You can see the thigh slaps there, absolutely locked in.
It's almost like trying to bait somebody to come at you.
And that's where that unspoken body language is so key. You've got to have such a great relationship and repertoire with your teammates. You can't solely be locked in on the radar. Really nice touch there.
And you see how
alert
he's
the pursuit here
in
as
the
well.
lobby area as well.
In the lobby area, alert the pursuit here, which didn't happen. But I know we've seen a couple different pursuits, and that's the end of the quarter. That was another quick one. Fantastic. England 61, USA 16. We'll come back to the pursuit conversation when we see it in the next quarter, but just their evasiveness is so impressive.
Yeah, I mean, England have been training so hard, and you know, as I say, they're turning up early to session. I don't know whether that's to kick us off the mats or to help us, but we don't go without a fight, so they end up training with us and helping us.
And that raises
the
level.
They're just so excited and keen to train, and you know, just improve and keep learning, keep getting better.
And there's a lot of great coaches around here. You'll see both teams obviously have their coaches on the sidelines. You have reserves within this sport, so you have 12 on a team with 5 reserves, 7 playing on the court. And so a substitution can only happen when there's a timeout, a quarter, half, any sort of stoppage in play. You're not able to have rolling subs as you might in other sports. So as a team, the women's England team, what are some of the things that you've enjoyed so much about this tournament so far?
Well, it's local for one. It's in the UK. Although it's always nice to travel outside of the UK for tournaments. But yeah, it's for me, it's a new set of girls that I've met, and you know, they've all brought different experiences. I've learned a variety of new techniques, new tactics. You know, our captain, she's just so dedicated and to helping everybody out, making sure we're all okay, and you know, going individually and giving advice and during the game as well. You know, and she's putting her heart out on that court. So.
And I'm glad that you brought up your captain, because, you know, this is still a sport, an amateur sport in a lot of ways, despite such a fantastic production that the England Kabaddi and Paddy Power and all of our wonderful sponsors have put on. But you were talking to me about the traveling.
Oh yeah, I mean, she's led by example with dedication to getting to training. You know, she doesn't drive, so she's had to take, you know, public transport. You know, that's over a number of hours, you know, sometimes up past 4 hours, 6 hours, and she's there, and every session she's there and she's giving it her all. You know, there's no moaning, I'm tired, no, I've had a long journey, just I'm ready to train, I'm here, let's do this.
And I think, you know, even the fact that she's left sometimes the night before to arrive in the morning just so she can train with the team, I mean, talk about lead by example. You will have just seen we had a new raider coming in, Anhat, who is potentially one of the most flexible men I've ever seen in my life. I was watching the teams warming up beforehand, and I'm sure he was doing full splits in that instinct. And I mean, just how that can benefit you in these moments when you're trying to use all of your limb length and space.
Yeah, I mean, the more length you've got, you know, and if you can use it at speed, then, you know, you're keeping that distance away from the defence, essentially.
And the kids shouting for England. They're so excited for the home country here. No points there
so
for
again,
Dunlop.
a do-or-die raid, so the raider must make a touch or they're out.
USA struggling to find a way to change their game plan. And great support there. Another point for England. You can see every 30 seconds the physicality of Kabaddi and how locked in you must be. For the springiness of Anada is so impressive, and the ability to recover He's saying he got 2 points, and yes, indeed, the officials have awarded him 2 points as England continue with this dominant win.
He's just gone for the first scorpion kick there.
And tell us a little bit, what does it mean, a scorpion kick?
You see, he just lifted his leg up. He's trying to tap him around the shoulder area. It's essentially a scorpion kick because it looks like the tail of a scorpion when you're in the position.
It's just incredible, the athleticism. That was definitely never one of my strengths in terms of the kicking game. We saw a little rebuttal there from Abi trying to match with it. It's really hard when you're in these one-on-one positions for those solo tackles.
Yeah.
You've got to be able to have the support of your team. These athletes are too good to bring down just one.
And if you go too high as well,
Precisely.
they'll just push off.
Precisely. And it's that quick reaction speed. And you love to see, you know, the teams will always have a little bit of that playing the game. No, you didn't touch. Didn't get the bonus line. Teams will be convinced.
It's very difficult as well because if your clothing's slightly baggy and they may touch your T-shirt but you don't feel it, then this is where sometimes we've touched, but you know, one party thinks they've touched because they felt it and the other party didn't feel it.
What a nice job. And there you go, an all out there. Fantastic. 3 points awarded to England. The USA team refills itself and a timeout on top of it as we are under 6 minutes left in this incredible matchup between England and USA. Good. Some comfortable chats with coaches. You love to see this, even though England are ahead, trying to get better every single play. Good. Few whistles here, a bit of confusion, it seems like, on who is starting the raid, but USA starting. You can see a little bit of confidence coming through here from England. Some wry smiles appearing. And look how high up they are. There is no threat there. As the cheers for England continue in this phenomenal stadium. What a fantastic job. A sliding, almost split we got there to get his foot across the line. It's any body part to get across the line. It doesn't have to be your hand.
It doesn't have to be the hand.
Oh, what a pull. What a solo tackle reinforced by his team. Emma, I saw your excitement when it happens.
Yeah, I was just shouting for the support, just in case you had to reach an arm out. And then you wait for your team to come and they can support by taking that hold of their arms because, you know, we've seen it happen. We've seen it happen in our game right at the end, you know, when you get them and you can just stretch that enough for the midline.
It's hard to probably turn off your mind from being a player on the court to now a commentator, an analyst in the booth.
I get so engrossed in the game that I'm just like, oh, wow.
But we love to see it, right? It's appreciating the athleticism and the knowledge and understanding and really how this game is growing. Fantastic to be able to have this sport on such a high platform, being streamed. Anybody can tune in and watch Kabaddi being played here. Again, the first World Cup outside of Asia. Oh, Mashoud, he's going for it again, and he's done it.
So this time he's pushed off the shoulder. That's another tactic that the Raiders will use quite often. They will push off defenders quite regularly.
And it's amazing to be able to push off and really the trajectory to get yourself across that midline. A new Raider in for USA. Unfortunately, a little bit unlucky in that situation. That cat and mouse game again. The Raiders loving meeting at the midpoint. USA just needing a little bit more support there. They almost had him if you just had the rest of the team come round and gather you.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of the England Raiders seem quite tall, so they're quite good at making the distance and the stretches.
No, and that's what makes it so dangerous. You've got multiple styles of play, and your height and limb length absolutely plays a big role in this. The spring in your step as well.
Oh, great ankle hold.
You can see the glee and the really just how impressed the crowd are from that ankle hold. Again, just the timing, the precision, the locking in and then pulling into the body. What an absolutely phenomenal play. Remember, Emma told you, once you've touched a defender, you can step into the lobby, which is the green bit around, and then continued. The heart of a champion, never giving up in this sport. But to your point before, that's why you want a lot of tight uniforms. That's why you tend to see tight uniforms from all the teams, because you don't want any baggy clothing that could potentially just be barely touched by a Raider.
Even hair for the women. You know, if somebody gets a touch on your hair, that counts. Hence why a lot of the girls you'll probably see with the hair braided, or if it is up instead of a pony, sometimes they'll tie it up in more of a bun.
Yeah, it's all these tips and tricks of the sport ultimately, aren't they?
See, they've kept the chain, so people ask a lot, why do you look like you're holding hands? And that's what we call a chain tackle. So when the Raider tries to run across, it's essentially making it seem like there's more people there, because the chain makes a bigger area.
That was a lucky recovery there from USA. England almost made their way around.
USA.
I think England getting the 1 point. One of the USA defenders got pushed out there. But you're right, holding the arms like that, making the chain, it eats up space essentially. Some like to maintain the chain and then, oh, wow. Wow. I mean,
I thought he just saved that tackle then.
He did. Look at that
pull. Was too late. He just managed to get his arm underneath the other defender.
And that was such a brilliant way. I mean, you can see the physicality of this team, and my goodness, congratulations to Team England. Final score 87-20. I mean, what a phenomenal job that was by both sides. A great showing, but England starting to really show why they are the team to beat. Now, we've got another game coming up in just a few minutes, but for all of you that are going to be joining us throughout the week, tomorrow we will be located in Birmingham, giving a brand new venue, Michelle's Wellbeing Center in North Birmingham. So this is going to be a great location. We've got games starting early on in the morning. The rest of the week we will also be in Walsall. So we hope to be able to have you. So Birmingham tomorrow, Walsall on the 21st, and back to Wolverhampton for the 22nd and 23rd, your semifinals and your finals. A huge thank you to all of you for joining. A massive thank you to Emma Jones joining us right off of the court, off a fresh win here for the 2025 Kabaddi World Cup, sponsored by Paddy Power. We will see you guys soon for our last match of the day. Thank you.
Thank you.
Today, we've got Councillor Cameron Khan from Coventry City Council, Paul Michael, MD of Coventry Building Society Arena, Doug King, Chairman of Coventry City Football Club, Councillor Gurdeep Hayer. We also have Becky Butler from Coventry University and Coventry Chargers, and finally, we have Ashok Das, President of World Kabaddi. Please make some noise, Coventry! Enjoy it all with you.
So they don't want to play because of that. So they're expecting us to rescind the this. We are not going to. Alright. And they cannot always like this. No. We should just put them on. Sure. Right, so.
India versus Hong Kong, China. Before we get started though, can we have a massive round of applause for the umpires and officials for this match? Now it is time to announce the first team, India. It is now time to introduce our next team, Hong Kong, China.
Hello and welcome back. You are at the Kabaddi World Cup 2025 being hosted here in Coventry at the Building Society Arena. My name's Phoebe Schechter, and I am so excited to be bringing you along this incredible day. We are day 3 here, and it has been nothing short of a display of athleticism. Up now, we've got Hong Kong, China versus India. Now, India are the favorites in this tournament, and a team that just coming off the back of a tie just yesterday versus Scotland. So they will be hungry to get the win here. And Hong Kong, China coming off a loss to Wales, 49-68. Both these teams have such different skill sets, and you love to see this right now, the pins being shared between these two teams, sharing an expression of their culture and a great token to bring home and showcase the amazing people that you are playing against. Now, Hong Kong, China, who are quite new to the sport of Kabaddi, been training over a year now. They're a team that really do a great job organizing their defense, quite shifty in terms of their movements, absolutely explosive, and truly play to their strengths. On the opposition, you've got Team India, a country of where Kabaddi really originated from, and their instincts, the just comfort within playing this sport is absolutely phenomenal. This is going to be quite the matchup, and as we're getting the countdown going, here we are. You've got school children from the local area, fans, friends, people who are brand new to the sport sat in the audience, and off we go, starting with India rating. You can see the raider just taking in the environment. And if you're new to the sport of Kabaddi, we will take you through some of the rules that are occurring throughout this match and how the sport works. Now you'll see on that one, it looks like he didn't touch anybody, but what happened is he got the bonus line. So as you're looking at your screen, not the closest to the raider, the one behind is your bonus line. If you get that when there's 6 or more defenders on the match, then you're able to get that extra point. You don't have to actually touch anyone. Now that beeping noise is going to alert you to say that time is almost run out. The athletes have 30 seconds from the time they cross the midline to be able to then either get a point, or you can duck out, go on what they call an empty raid as well. However, if you do that, the next raid by your team, you must score a point. Good, the beeping noise goes again, and the bonus line is what they're really looking for.
Bonus to India.
A bonus point given there.
Do or die.
A do or die raid here for Hong Kong, China. So they've got to be able to score points, whether by going over the bonus line or by touching one of the defenders. Now this India side are so comfortable with these movements, and they know how to wear out a raider, but it's do or die. They've got to. Oh, so close there. The chain got them. Now the way it works is if you get out, if you get a point in that situation, as the raider did, you must go sit on the bench. Fantastic concentration, but my goodness, what a great job. You see just the awareness of where that midline is, the pushing off, getting himself back across the midline. So however many defenders had made contact with him, that's how many points are deducted, and they must go off the court.
Bonus point, Hong Kong. 1 point, India.
Earlier on, we had one of the England women's players on with us, Emma Jones, and she was talking about how when you're a raider, you see that there's 2 different shades of green going on. You've got the main court and this lighter green, what we call lobby, around the outside. And when a defender is touched by a raider, that lighter green lobby becomes alive. So it almost expands the court, so you're able to step in it. If you've not touched anybody, then it becomes a problem and you can lose a point, gain a point if you're the opposition. It was fascinating. I was watching number 10 warming up in the back as the teams were doing their work. Oh my goodness, what a terrific ankle hold that was by Team India. One of their strongest points, and you see a quick pursuit. You see how he's just hustled in there immediately. And that is an all out. 4 points. He touched both the players. 4 points and all out. Now all of Hong Kong, China can come back onto the court. Yeah, number 10 earlier was practicing those leg holds with a little bit of distraction from the hand. They're just so good. Perhaps a skill you can use against many other countries, but India, they do such a fantastic job. And the acknowledgement from 7 that he had been touched in that moment, that's the integrity of the sport. You love to see it. Really great movements and getting across.
1 point, India.
Oh, and they said that that he did not cross the line, but what an unbelievable effort from number 9 there. Nice movements. Again, you can go on what they call an empty raid. Letting the time run down here. You'll get multiple raiders up at the line, just disguising, a little bit of smoke and mirrors. Some raiders prefer one side to the other. As a raider, once you start your raid, so you cross the midline, your 30-second timer begins, but you've got to check in for the raid. So you'll see that first yellow line is called the balk line. And a step out there, unfortunate from number 2 from Hong Kong, China, and ultimately ends up with him on the bench, joining the rest of his teammates. A really nice kick there from India, one of their specialities. You have the Pro Kabaddi League out in India, and this is just one of the opportunities where you play against absolute legends of the game, the best of the best. Another quick pursuit here from number 12. He's got no support. He's going to have to just push him out. It's great for the crowd here, being able to witness the top of the top really competing. We've got a couple more days of games here before we get to the semifinals on Saturday and the finals on Sunday this week, all of which you can tune into on BBC iPlayer. Good, nice movement. Well done keeping your eyes. And because he's the last player left on that team, you're ultimately looking to be able to bring everybody back in. So you have an all out, you bring everybody back onto the court now. We are going to have a sub, it looks like, coming in for Hong Kong, China, as one of the athletes has lost a contact whilst playing. And it looks like he sorted it now. But this is one of the most physical sports. It's so exciting. Once you start to understand the tactics and the rules within it, it's one of the most explosive, fun games. And every 30 seconds, you've got a new raider, you've got a new defensive movement going on. It just keeps your attention. Good, Ten's gonna have to change up his tactics here. They're starting to know what he does, and really nice job, but look at the way that ankle is grabbed and pulled all the way back. That team tackling, the pursuit, the support over the top. You need to make sure that no body part is able to cross the midline, or everyone who the raider had touched will have been gotten out. A little bit high there from the Hong Kong, China defense. You want to invite India to come back in a little bit deeper. As you can see here, they're doing that with Hong Kong, China, because they don't want them to be able to have an easy go to the midline. But this is what India does to teams. They make them play differently because you're playing the best of the best within this sport. They force the defense to move around, but you've got to be confident and just take that leap. A great opportunity is when you see somebody doing a kick, and if you know that someone has a tendency to do that, when they're going for that kick, that's where you've got to be able to get them when they're on one leg. You can really see it in this India defense, the way that the defenders, they sit down and back, using each other for momentum. What a nice play there. Fantastic job by number 7. A real lead by example moment for this incredible team. So in that situation, you see a point is awarded to both. India got the bonus point. They put their foot and weight over that back line. However, there was also a being pushed out, which allowed for Hong Kong, China to get that point. It's pretty incredible for this Kabaddi World Cup. This is being streamed in 3 different languages throughout, and it just goes to speak to how many people around the world are so excited to be able to be a part of this incredible sport. The first time that the Kabaddi World Cup has been outside of Asia. You can hear the school children cheering in the background. They've had an amazing day, and it's been so nice to be able to have the World Cup come to the Midlands. This is a roaming tour right now. We're just at the end. Has really been doing a great job in the community, going around to local schools, teaching them about the sport. You can see some of the artwork that local schools have made in celebration and support of the Kabaddi World Cup. The flags are being shown, but what a great sport it's been. What a great first quarter it's been. I mean, absolutely explosive from both sides. Hong Kong, China should be very proud of what they've been able to do so far, but they're going to have to find ways to get more points whilst raiding. That's tending to be the biggest detriment right now, is they're just getting swallowed up as they are trying to get a feel for how to attack a very strong Team India. Current score is 23-3. India taking the lead here. Again, a team coming off a tie only yesterday to Scotland, 64-64. So whenever there's a game break, substitutions, end of quarter, end of half, that's where you're able to add in those substitutions. There are no rolling subs within this, so you have to be very particular. You're allowed 12 people on your team, 5 of which are reserves on the bench. Good communication. It's okay to go for an empty raid here, and always keeping your eyes essentially at the other end of the court, because you never know when India will rebuttal. Again, taking their time. Throughout all of this, they've got to keep repeating the word Kabaddi, so that is why you'll see their mouths moving, saying Kabaddi, Kabaddi. And that is part of this spirit of the warrior element that Kabaddi really brings to the table. It was a sport that was used to train soldiers back in the day, and so it was all about mental and physical fitness. Oh, what an effort there. He almost had it. My goodness, the grip of the Indian defender on that play. But fantastic job. I mean, this has got to give the team hope and promise that you can pick apart this India defense. The footwork, the speed, the awareness. He's looking forwards, but he's feeling what's happening behind him. They use their feet almost like feelers, where they can sense the ground. They can sense who's there. The noises as well that you'll hear the athletes making, it's to steal the attention of the raider. Just pull their focus off for just a second in order to force them to make a mistake or allow for another defender to come and tackle him. So here you've got a do or die raid again. He can go for a bonus point here, something that India are quite comfortable with, and the bonus point has been gotten. As you saw, he reached for that back line. You've got to have all your weight on that 1 foot for a second. Good, and now just catching his breath, letting time count down. Another do or die here. this time for Hong Kong, China. You'll see there's 2 clocks on your screen. The top one is the one that is the quarter that we are in. The bottom one is the clock, the 30-second clock for the raid.
India.
You love to see the athletes who have already played today and some who aren't even playing today out in the crowd watching. We've seen some Team England, Team Poland earlier, Italy. It's been phenomenal. The support here is just incredible. Yes, really nice decision, decisive there from Hong Kong, China. That's going to give them some confidence going forwards. They need to operate as one. That's the only way to be successful in this competition. It's almost like a seesaw you'll see with the defense. As one side goes down, the other one comes up, and they move like water back and forth, having a really great feel and flow with each other. Good, you see the signaling there from Hong Kong, China. Number 7 trying to pull up his defenders in the corner there. You've got to have that unspoken body language. And just at the last second, a little bit of conversation here with the officials, looking what the call might be. And he's given them 3 points to India. I mean, just a terrific raid there from India. And you'd be wondering, you think, oh, he looks like he's out. What you need is to have an official timeout to have this discussion, perhaps discussing who should have gone out on one of the 3 points. But you'll see when India has gone out, he reaches immediately to the midline. That's where you need somebody to come around and support. You need to block that off. Sometimes you might see somebody lay out, grab the arm, whatever that may be. Earlier in a game today, we saw Italy spinning and getting their feet around to cross the line. It's any means necessary. Playing until the whistle goes. So down to 3 defenders now for HKC. Good, looking to use the strengths, quick on his feet. Nice movement. You want to watch the hips. Good, number 9, one of their top raiders here. With the weight category being 85 kilos or less, it creates a whole different heights and body types, and it's really so exciting because you've got people like 9 who are so tall and limmy, and then you might have more physical or lower center of gravity players, and it changes what you can do. Some of this is tactics as well. He's happy to let that happen, but you've got to do or die here. Trying a little scorpion kick, but you've got to keep your eyes down on the court, or India come through in strong fashion.
Time out, India. Time out, India.
Timeout called here. Coach having a word. I don't feel like Hong Kong, China should feel like they are doing anything necessarily wrong in these moments. You're going against one of the top teams, and this is only going to make you better. This is going to strengthen you. And think about the skill sets for a team that is really quite fresh. We saw their women's team playing earlier against England. It was an incredibly tight game. They did such a brilliant job. A team that's that's really only been together for a year now, just over, multitude of sports and multi-sports ultimately making up the strengths of some of these athletes. A little bit of encouragement there from number 9, really trying to guide number 5 on his raid. Nice communication from 4, telling his players to stay out of it. He's sacrificing himself, essentially. He doesn't want anybody else to be tagged by the raider. I mean, Kabaddi is one of those incredibly technical sports, but it's something where it's almost a mix of British Bulldog and a bit of mixed martial arts, a bit of tag. I mean, it's just so fascinating. There's not much like this sport, and of course, you don't need much in order to be able to play. Literally just draw some lines in the dirt somewhere and you can play. Now there's a few different variations of the sport. You've got beach kabaddi, you've got circular kabaddi, which is played outside, and you've got rectangular kabaddi, which is what we're watching here today. And a nice show of sportsmanship there. And all out for India, getting all the Hong Kong players back onto the court now. It's very challenging when you're in those one-on-one positions. Seven looking like he might have a little bit of a rugby background. Again, those skill sets being really critical. Awareness, teamwork. So even as you're watching some of these players and you're watching the grips here, a really nice job by Hong Kong, China, but the corner needed to come with. They needed both those defenders to go together. There seems to be a little bit of hesitation still on when to go, when not to go, but you need to have that communication. Sometimes it might just be a squeeze of the hand between you and your partner. Sometimes it might be eye contact or a word that you might say that really fires you out. An empty raid there. So this should really be advantage to HKC here, but the defenders have to come up. They need to come cover. They're giving him way too much space. And when you're watching that, you really want to see the defenders make almost like a horseshoe around and almost make that raider feel uncomfortable, make them feel like they're close and in their space. Bonus point there for HKC. Really nice job. So again, this is where you've got to almost just constantly find that marriage between these two sets of two that you've got going on. When one is back, the other needs to come up. You've got to force that raider into discomfort. Just like that. Well done. And the extra pull. Fantastic job. Great job by number 9 on that final grab. You watch right here. You want to pull him from even being able to reach across the midline. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is halftime. What a great first half we have had here in Coventry. This has been so exciting, watching the best of the best.
Welcome to Birmingham and the West Midlands, a region of many faces and even more stories, where history comes alive, cultures connect, and unique experiences are made. Come for our icons like Shakespeare and the Peaky Blinders, and stay for the warm welcome with our world-renowned food, breathtaking events, and a diverse culture hundreds of years in the making. Explore the heart of the UK. Visit Birmingham and the West Midlands.
Let's go to India pretty close as well. And now it's time to get back to the action shortly.
क्या सोच रहे हो भाई?
And welcome back. And if you are just joining us, welcome to the Kabaddi World Cup 2025. I'm your host, Phoebe Schechter, former England captain, and my goodness, the energy in here is just getting wilder. It's so great to see. You've got the HKC women who are there supporting, but all the school children, I mean, just in awe of these athletes, trying to get away from them. I mean, who ever thought that they'd be able to come and see the first ever World Cup outside of Asia here in the Midlands? And we love it. It's a touring element, so multiple locations: Birmingham, Walsall, Coventry, where we are today at this beautiful Coventry Arena. We've also got Wolverhampton as one of our venue choices, and right now you're watching some of the best in terms of Team India. Really just absolute display of what is excellence within Kabaddi. And the current score, 38 India to 7 Hong Kong, China. Got a new raider in for India. Testing out the waters. This is a great opportunity to perhaps get some of the athletes who maybe wouldn't start a game, get them some extra game reps. You have 12 players, 5 reserves on the bench, and so you can substitute in at any time. Now, for some of you, if you're new to the sport, or if you've just tuned in, or even if you were watching before, you will have seen that HKC started with 5 defenders. At halftime, it stays exactly the same. You don't actually refill your team. So if you ended the match at half with 5 defenders or 3 defenders, you start again with the same amount of players on the court. It was a really fantastic display of athleticism there from India, getting 3 points. You'll also see in the back the original Raider who went, and ultimately he doesn't have to do anything. They want to protect him. Essentially, he's your best point scorer, so you don't want him to be involved in the defense because you don't want him to potentially get out. Oh, and a pursuit immediately. That's the awareness that you need to have within this sport. So ultimately, you saw the bonus point that was scored there by HKC. And then he ran back when the time was expiring, but there was a pursuit that happened from Team India. Good, a point for India there. A nice attempt, but India know how to pull a defense high. As you're moving laterally, so as a Raider forces you to go back and forth, you almost lose your sense of where you are a little bit, and you tend to come a little bit higher as a defense. And that's one of the tactics behind this. You want to force the team to keep moving. They get a little bit higher. It puts you in a good position as a Raider to be able to tag and get right back. The closer you are to the midline, the more dangerous it is for our defense. An empty raid there for India. They don't fear that situation.
Out. 1 point. India.
One thing you'll see the difference between these two teams is when India are raiding, even if they are engaged with contact, they're able to adjust their height. They can duck under. They might jump over. They have all these different methods of being able to almost contort themselves when pressure is applied, and that's ultimately what HKC is going to have to learn to do when faced with contact, having some sort of move to adjust to be able to evade and get back across the midpoint. A little bit of quick feet there. Not touched. And the buzzer goes for 10 seconds left. You can see the cat and mouse games happening. Oh, they need the help there. The commitment from 11 is great, but you've got to get the rest of your team there together. A do-or-die raid, so they've got to be able to either get a bonus point by stepping over that back line or tag one of the defenders. You can see how high this India team are. Oh, and so close. Just needed to find a way to reach out, get across.
Time out. Hong Kong.
Timeout here for HKC. It's also an all-out, as you saw the points added there for India. Current score is 51-9. You love to see the athletes coach each other up. Even against a team that perhaps isn't to the same level, you still got to be able to push yourself. You've got to be able to raise the standard of what's going on. Coach in there giving words of advice, but looking very happy. That actually looked like one of the athletes from earlier, one of the strongest players from earlier on. It's great to see the camaraderie between the countries and the men's and the women's teams. We even heard Emma Jones talking earlier about how the England men are doing a fantastic job of coaching up the England women and utilizing that skill set. Really nice job there, falling back to get across the midline. Again, Levin's not afraid of the contact, and I do love that, but you've got to be able to win as a team here, and the only way to do that is to tackle as a team. Nice movement, nice fight. Again, really high.
1 point, India.
It's so interesting because you watch how the two teams warm up, and ultimately India doing lots of your almost Brazilian jiu-jitsu moves, some of the almost forward rolls and lots of different hopping on one leg, all the things that activate the skill sets they use so much. Definitely a great opportunity when watching other countries like this warm up, borrowing some of their warm-up ideas that helps prep their bodies for these moments. A nice attempted pursuit there from number 4. Good low center of gravity here. Doesn't have to use the clock.
Do or die.
Now a do or die for Team India. He's been an incredible raider for them so far today. Great quickness. Good an acknowledgement there from the defense that he did not get them, but you've got to be able to commit to this if you're going to go for it and come back around. The best opportunity is when a raider turns their back on you. And as it was a do or die, and he did not get the bonus, nor got the point, he is now out. However, if India are to get number 9 here, then they would be able to get a player back on.
1 point, Hong Kong.
Nice point there for Hong Kong. Getting a little bit of momentum here in this third quarter. That halftime talk they had must have been good for them. And that is what they needed. Huge stop there from Hong Kong, China. Fantastic job. A raider that came in after the half. You put in number 7, who's probably a bit more brute force, but you've got to have a low center of gravity still, finding a way to tag one of these defenders. In Kabaddi, we call defenders stoppers, and your offensive player essentially are raiders. Again, coaching up from his teammate, where to attack, perhaps different tactics to use. And did he get his arm across on that one? The officials waiting to let it know. Oh, he did. 3 defenders pulled in. Fantastic job from India on the raid. We might have a little bit of an injury here, though, on the court. Number 2.
Wait. Number 2 have out. No.
It's great to see also that we have officials from multitude of countries here. They're trying to find a substitution for the injured player, as he was one of the players to stay on the court. new athlete on, number 12, on this big stage. It also changes. Sometimes as someone that's coming in as a substitute, you might be more comfortable in only one position. And so you've got to find a way to adjust. It may not be your regular position, or you might have to bump one of the other athletes out.
1 point. 1 goal. Two minutes quarter break.
And just like that, the quarter is over. And that is the end of the third quarter. We are heading... on this side. We saw earlier some selfies, a very key part of international sport, but you love to see it. Excitement, joy playing here. Really nice job by both sides here. India definitely being the more dominant. Just their ability to change their entire body in space is pretty phenomenal. So for anybody that is new to the sport, there's tons of ways to learn about it, tons of opportunities to get involved playing Kabaddi in a city near you. Everything's gone through England Kabaddi Association. You can also find out more information through World Kabaddi. You can follow on all your wonderful social media sources in order to find a club near you. Perhaps you want to take part in the British Kabaddi League, or you're a university student that wants to engage with this incredible sport, one that's truly made a revival from back in the 80s, when I know it used to be a bit popular then. So it's absolutely exciting to have this kind of reinvigorated again here in the UK. A few different conversations here around tactics for HKC. I'm sure they'll be wanting to come out strong. Had their water break, understand that they've been doing a good job of chipping away from India. Good, trying a different tactic here, going for the kick. A little bit better movement. So when you're looking at some of the positions here, you essentially are calling your outer people corners. The ones that come literally in from there, you call your ins. Then you've got a cover on either side of the center. And those essentially are your 7 positions within the sport. The center does tend to be the one who might be your number one raider. They might back off a little bit, and the covers can move. And as the defense is rotating, you see that people are grabbing hands, releasing hands. What a nice touch, and great recognition from India as well. Number 10 will be very pleased with that. Good, starting to slow down the time here a little bit. India understand that you can take advantage of the whole 30 seconds, but 4 from HKC is right in there with absolute ferocity. He's forcing this Indian defense to really play tough. He's moving them around with absolute quickness and speed. And another great touch. This is the best we've seen so far from this HKC team regarding their rating. Good, again, trying to move up. You've got the pointing from 7. He's trying to tell him where to go with it. Almost there, looking for that ankle grab from 9. Too high.
India.
Every position within Kabaddi has much different skill sets, and it's so fascinating to be able to see. And again, another acknowledgement from number 9. Fantastic job. I don't know if India we're expecting this next level, this 4th gear, as we are in the 4th quarter here at the Kabaddi World Cup in Coventry. That was the conversation, the communication. You could hear them talking about it. They were all there on the same page, but nobody is coming over the top. That's really going to be the biggest difference when you get to these really good teams. You've got to have somebody to be there to block the line.
Out. 1 point, India. Time out, India.
Timeout, India taken. Just over 6 minutes left, and we've got another substitution. 11 going back in, 3 coming off right now. A few different words with the officials, just trying to understand and let them know what's going on. Number 7 really taking on that captain role, doing a fantastic job as a leader for his team. Got a little bit of tactics planning right now from both sides. But what a great day this has been. I mean, this is our 4th game of the day. Everyone has pretty much been just a great display of absolute athleticism, a true testament to the game of Kabaddi. And here you still have all the teams watching this final game of the day with pure excitement. And tomorrow we have even more games ahead. Another full day. We are every day here, BBC iPlayer, giving you the Kabaddi content that you didn't even know that you needed, with tons of athleticism, amazing highlights, great stops, great raids, everything you need to continue to fall in love with this amazing sport. Good, and another substitution made. Number 9 coming off, I think, with a little bit of an injury on this last play. 3, again, with a little bit of an injury. We've talked about how physical this sport is. It challenges you in so many different ways. But now you'll see India really trying to run the clock out. You've got a new athlete in, number 6, playing the in. Again, paired up with number 12, who only came in as of recent with an injury, playing that left corner. First time we get to see him raid. Nice low balance, good stretched arms to be able to keep the defenders away and push off like you would in wrestling, essentially.
Do or die.
So do or die here for India. And he goes right to the newest people on the court, challenging them. Going to have to be aware of where the boundary is. They can't step into that. Well done there.
India. Do or die.
Do or die here puts a lot of pressure, and India just saved him the effort. An immediate tag in order to be able to get the all out. You want to have your team all the way back in for these final 4.5 minutes as we're counting down to our last game of the day. Team leader number 7 out on the court. Good, looking to try and get the bonus. Good, finding their shape again. Four from India taking his time, but you can see 4 from Hong Kong, China looking to be there immediately for a pursuit. Ready to make that match. And 10 is there, trying to steal their attention. A little bit of tactics there. Trying to get the bonus point. Just gotta be so quick with it. If they don't keep their shape from a defensive standpoint, you're able to kind of attack the middle a little bit, but the speed in which they fly across as one.
1 point, India. Timeout.
Timeout here from Team India. Well, this has been such a fantastic last quarter. Teams have been working hard today. They've had a lot of games this week. But you start to see the joy coming across this Team India's face. It's nice to see people enjoying the sport they love so much and have been playing for such a long time. Good, India checking in on the balk line there, initiating that raid. I like to see the height of the defenders. You see the instincts where 6 goes for the bonus line and then immediately is able to pull both feet out because avoiding any sort of contact. He got the bonus point on that. It's just that instinct from constantly doing it for so much. So sometimes you'll see what For's trying to do here. He's trying to step on the toes of the players. Because even stepping on the toes of the players counts as a touch. Good, taking his time. 15 seconds left on the raid. And you see him mouthing Kabaddi. Keeping that concentration. Having faith in the next teammate that has to go for the raid during the do or die. Good check in for it. Really nice. Got the bonus point.
Bonus 1 point. 2 point, Hong Kong.
Now a do or die here for India.
Do or die.
You see they change the raider in this position just in case he doesn't get on a do or die. Perhaps one of the last raids for this Indian side. And there we go. Lovely tackle. You saw them come up around the top, preventing any limbs being reached out over that line. That's exactly what you need to do. Cut off that touch point. A little bit of cat and mouse there. Taking your time. Checked in for the raid. Taking his time. He might count down the clock here. Yeah, last 10 seconds. And this will be the last raid of the day. And a fantastic day it was. Massive congratulations to India. Score 73 to Hong Kong 21. Absolutely brilliant job. And thank you to all of you who are tuning in at home, wherever you are on the road. We really appreciate you. And we have so much more live sport coming for you. Kabaddi all week long. Today we've had India women taking home a win, Scotland men take home a win, England women, and of course finishing with the India men taking home that win. Tomorrow we will be live from 10 a.m. We will be in Birmingham, though. You'll have a different set of scenery around you. Thank you so much to all of you for tuning in. Remember, you can find us on the BBC iPlayer. I'm Phoebe Schechter, and this was day 3 of the Kabaddi World Cup 2025. Have a wonderful rest of your day.
So please do continue to follow along to the next games this week. And we hope you enjoyed this as much as we have. Thank you.
Hãy subscribe cho kênh Ghiền Mì Gõ để không bỏ lỡ